Different structures, same sky, different dominance. That's not random. Welcome to another video of Pandora Through Biologist's Eyes. In this episode, I'm going to show you a little bit about Pandora's aerial predators, and I am going to go a little bit into detail about two of them. Here are they. So we've got, of course, the famous mountain Ikran or mountain banshee, which is the animal that the characters ride in the movies. We do not have the toruk that you can see in the first and the third movie, but we do have something big, and that's the Stormglider. I've added those smaller ones, the Coronis, the Stingbat, and the tetrapod, into just for a short intro in the beginning as well, because as you can see, they do have a similar body build, and they do look like predators. This one is clearly a bat, or bat inspired, but as you can see, the legs and the wings, and also the tail, they show a lot of similarities with our Ikran. So here they are. There are something called forest Ikrans. They're not in the game though, but they are smaller than the mountain Ikrans. So mountain Ikrans are the ones that the Navi ride. They're very strong because of the whole Pandora being, more dense. The cells of the living things are much stronger going on, so lower building. But they're very distinctive, of course, are their wings. They've got those leathery wings, and then they've got those insect-like wings. They're very strong flyers. They have those two pair. They have the pair in the front, and they have the pair in the leg that are connected by a membrane with their body in the back. This is called the Stingbat. It also looks inspired by a bat, but compared to the Coronis that we saw, the face is more like the Night Wraith in the third movie. They're also very small, but they've got the same, the cedar head. So these are kind of small, but they do look like they are predators. And you can see they've got more distinctive. They have 2 legs and 4 pairs of wings. 2 pairs of wings, 4 sets of wings. So 2 legs and 4 wings. Similar build, of course, as the others we've seen, but they do not have those insect-like shapes. Only the Ikran do for now. So here's the big one, the Stormglider. I'm going to go there in a second. And this one is also very interesting because it also has a face similar to the Stingbat that we just saw. And similar to the Stingbat, it has 4 wings and 2 legs, plus those 2 appendages in the front, which don't seem to be sprouting from any sort of extremities, but might be some decorative or they have a use. So all of them have intro sheets, which of course is available online too. And as I say here, flamingo-like, which is exactly what they look like. Or if you've heard of them, those big terror birds, of course, although they are very small. So our tetrapod, so tetra means 4, pteron is a wing, so 4 wing. But they got those little nice legs. They can probably walk around on the ground as well. So now coming to this one. That's the Stormglider. As you can see, it has similarities to the Ikran, with one big being the way those wings are partly leathery, but also have those insect-like appendages in the front. So Stormgliders are the biggest predators, aerial predators I should say, on Pandora. They are massive. They are basically what the toruk is in the movies. They are superior to the skies, although in the Hunter Guide, the thing that I take all the pictures out of, they are described as not being that smart. And apparently they do have a venomous tail with a stinger on it, and that's how they hunt. You can see the barbed stinger here. I'll show you a little bit more in detail. So interesting about them that their wings, they don't really have those wings in the back that are connected. So they seem to have, no use for that. They just have those big gliding wings. What is interesting about all of those I just showed you, they seem to have some similarities, but that does not necessarily mean that they really are related. Because as in our real life, we have animals that look kind of similar. For example, we have falcons and birds of prey such as eagles or hawks. Falcons are closer to parrots than they are to these birds of prey, which is because called convergent evolution. We will have, and we have that in this game probably. We also have it like in real life a lot. So convergent evolution basically means it just has developed separately. It still looks similar. So we cannot really say for sure if these are all more or less close related. So maybe they had a common ancestor at some point, or maybe they are just like completely different groups of animals that have evolved separately to get the ability of flight. It's hard to say, of course, and now with genetics it's even more difficult because you usually test how to say how, different species, family or not. Just like from basic looking at them, the Stormglider has lots of similarities with the Toruk from the movies. And the mountain Ikran and the forest Ikran are basically the same. They're even called smaller cousins, the forest Ikrans. Tetrapteron and these, they have similar face shapes, which is interesting because it also fits with the look of the night wraith that we see Varang riding in the third movie. So maybe there is some relation there, but it's, can never say for sure because you can go, of course, after what stuff looks like and then say like, oh, it's similar, but usually you do a genetic testing as well. Teeth of the Ikran, they're very sharp and curved to the inside. I will try to get footage of it, but when they open their mouth, the teeth don't seem to be anchored into their jawbone, so they will stretch out and allow them to grab and hold on to stuff. Similar to how snakes hunt prey, especially the constricting snakes, because they grab on, hold on, and then they use their body weight to do. Ikrans are said to be predators. They defend themselves and they can kill Navi, as has been established when Navi try to, bond with them. But in this game, we can see them hunt little things, and we can actually do that in flight. So here you see her teeth in motion. I just flew into this swarm called the whale swarm. Whale, sorry. So she grabs them and eats them. And here you can also see the tongue. But they do have those very sharp teeth, and as you can see in the back, there are no serrated teeth, which means she probably just grabs the prey and more or less swallows it whole. So Ikran, usually, at least in this game, you go for those little things. They can eat it or you give them chunks of meat. We've seen how a mountain banshee, or the Ikran here, or the one that I'm, using to traverse, how they look in flight, because you've seen it, of course, or seen some videos, or maybe played the game yourself. So how they fly and how they look when they move around. But you can sometimes spot them from a distance because they are flying around, like here. So there are different sizes of them in game, or like in general in the Pandora world. I'm just showing them by night because you can also see a little bit of the shape when they fly, because the game is very colorful. But you can see how they move their, their first pair of wings and then the second pair. So in-game wise, they're all like mountain banshees, but they look kind of small. That's just because there are different sizes, and I think the lore of the game, or the Pandora world itself, is that they have those rookeries where they practically, nest like birds would do that have big colonies. So depending on where they are and how high they are, there's like different specimen where just like very strong and big individuals are. So of course the people of Pandora the Navi just go there because they want some strong gliders. And generally the animals in Pandora, because of, lore and world building, since the atmosphere is much denser, they have developed much denser cells. I think it's basically like a biological carbon fiber. So they're very strong and they can easily carry us. Or in this case, the character here. But here you can see how they look when they fly. I will also show you a comparison with how a Stormglider looks when they fly, because they only have one very distinct pair of wings, which I'm going to show you in a second. So we can see the Stormglider. They are very aggressive, and what you can see, long wings. Long wingspan. And they do not have this distinctive second pair of wings. So I'm just going to dodge it. They are solitary compared to the... I'm going to see if I can get it to attack me. Okay, as you can see, their teeth are pretty much similar to those of the Ikran. which means they probably have a similar hunting strategy. It is interesting though, because with these trees, and they're going to go for me, like you can see it here, using their hind legs to take me down, or take prey down, and you can see here, I have to get rid of that, a nice comparison of the sheer size that they have. I can't even zoom out anymore how big they are, but they've got a huge wingspan, which gives honor to the name Stormglider. Here you can see that in flight their wings are folded out the same as they are with the Ikran, but when they're just are on the ground, they have those the insecty parts folded back 2 times. So you can see the Ikran, they only have 1 joint, and they have 2 joints with claws on each. The thing I find interesting about, if you look at the teeth, that they are like more not really serrated, but they go for prey that is this size. So that would, like crocodiles with those conical teeth they have, so they probably would grab it and try to get chunks out of it, which is gonna be really, really hard if you have a body like this, because they're more streamlined like a shark. But sharks, the big sharks that go after big size, let's say great white sharks, of course, they do have serrated teeth. So what a shark does, it takes a bite and it moves his head to the side to create like a cutting motion, like steak knives. There are sharks, of course, with teeth like this. Some of the, I think it is those toothy smiled sharks that are with those, the weird teeth that look very creepy. For example, the goblin shark. They have a mouth and it folds out a little bit up front, so they look really freaky. But they go for fish that are not as big, so they can just grab it and more or less swallow it whole, so like the Ikran does. So it is very interesting to see that, and the concept would probably, being like large carnivores that go after prey that's this size, to have teeth, at least in the back, that are serrated, so you could take chunks and, take bites, but with those teeth that are not serrated, you can basically just hold and puncture, which is not good for, grabbing chunks. So another interesting thing is, in lore, they have focus on their venomous spike that they have in the back that they use for hunting. It's so the thing in general, I think the Stormglider seems to be inspired by a mix out of a stingray and a shark to some degree. Although I must say, I find the whole thing, because it's an aerial predator already, it's got those big talons. What does it need a stinger for? Plus, in this game, of course, I'm gonna keep playing the clip to see. I'm gonna get out of the photo mode. You'll see how it knocks me off. So it grabs me and it throws me off. So that's what it does. Alright, I took care of it for research purposes. And you can see they do have those 2 pairs of the appendages, which are probably similar to the Navikuru that the Ikran have. The only thing is they don't have this ear-like structure, but they've got this sail in the middle, which is probably for aerodynamics. The chest opening is pretty similar to those of the Ikran as well. And here you can see, please ignore my arrows, the wings. Although they clipped a little bit into the ground. But yeah, so this is my take of the aerial predators that you can find on Pandora. I hope you enjoyed it. You've seen the different types of aerial predators, or just generally aerial things, aerial animals that more or less look the same. And she landed almost on it. But it is very interesting to see, or maybe guess, the inspiration, of course, because of course the wings are insects. There are some creatures there, insect-like, I'm gonna show you at some point too. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. I see a size comparison again. And take care.